I didn't come back thinking, God, I hated that shoe, like I have done in some shoes, and I didn't come back thinking, wow, I absolutely love that shoe. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Running Man Sam, the weightlifting runner who's absolutely addicted to running shoes. If you're new to the channel today, please hit that like and the subscribe. When new shoes come out, I just love that new technology. I just love thinking about what they will feel like. So today we are talking about the Adidas ADIZERO Boston 10. We're just going to call it the Boston 10. As always, what we're going to do here is we're going to attach the first run. Always take the shoe out for a first run. Don't be watching any of them reviews of the people that take it out of the box, they don't run in it and they go, this shoe's going to be awesome, it's going to do everything you want. No. If they haven't run in it, they can't give an opinion. That's fair enough, isn't it, right? If you can't give an opinion on a shoe as a running shoe if you've not run in the shoe. So we've taken this for 6 miles today, just under 10k. Just for an initial impression, not for a full review. So we're going to attach that first run here. Woohoo! After waiting 10,000 million years, the Adidas Boston 10 have finally arrived. Yes. What do you think of the shoe?
A monster!
It is a monster, isn't it?
Yeah!
A monster shoe. Do you like it? Oh, it's an evil monster shoe. It's definitely a rigid feeling shoe. Look, it's trying to bend it there. There's not much giving it. So obviously I've heard that this is quite a firm shoe. I don't mind a firm shoe. The Adios 6 is fairly firm. So we will see what this is like. So bonus points, who can name this film? Yeah, okay. 6 miles done in the Adidas ADIZERO Boston 10. Forgot my headband again, so hot sweaty mess. Three words that come to mind after the run, as always, before we put together the initial thoughts review in the shoe is there. 4 foot favouring, one word. Firm and stable. Obviously we'll put together a lot more thoughts in a bit when we get into the shoe is there. See in a sec. So there we have it, another little look here at the Adidas Boston 10. They do look very similar, these new shoes in the ADIZERO lineup, the Boston 10, the Adios Pro 2 and the Adidas ADIZERO Adios 6. Boston 9 of old, you obviously normally had much less stack height here, was much more of a low to the ground feeling shoe. I didn't have the Boston 9, but I did have the Boston 8, which had the boost and sort of just an EVA foam in it, which I didn't even really name it. I really enjoyed the Boston 8. If you guys haven't already watched it, I've done a full review on the Adios 6, which I do really enjoy. You guys have come here to know if the Boston 10 is any good. And I'm here to say that it's all right. It's one of them shoes that I ran in it today, and I wasn't blown away by it. I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't really happy running it. I wasn't really thinking, God, I can't wait to get this off my foot. It was just okay. Again, this is just after 6 miles. This isn't a full review or any score or anything like that. That's just how I felt about it. We're going to go into a little bit of details. So let's talk quickly about the stats and then we'll get more into it. So the stats of the shoe, this is a max cushion type shoe, even though it doesn't necessarily feel it when you're running due to the firmer nature of the foam, which we'll get into in a bit. So we have got 39.5 millimeters of stack in the heel and 31 millimeters of stack in the forefoot, giving us an 8.5 millimeter drop, which is, as I said, a max cushion shoe. Now, in terms of pricing, this comes in at £130. I'll try and find out how much it's coming up for in the USA up here as well. In terms of weight, this is definitely a heavy weight of a shoe. Now, just quickly, weight isn't something that really bothers me in a shoe unless it's like ridiculously heavy and feels so on your foot. This is now my second heaviest road running shoe. It's coming in at about 348 grams, I believe. Does it feel heavy on your foot? Yeah, a little bit. It does feel a little bit heavy. I think some people that are maybe a little bit slighter, a little bit lighter, might find this a little bit more of a problem, maybe, but for me it wasn't too much of an issue today. I'm just pointing out the facts. The upper, I've just been reading through Adidas's app and I can see this is made of prime green apparently, or a prime green material, which means that 50% of this upper is made from recyclable materials, which I think is pretty awesome, isn't it? But as runners, we also want to know what that's going to feel like on our feet, don't we? Now, I know that the Asics Metabee Sky was made up pretty much all of recyclable materials on the upper, and because of that, I found a few issues in it, which we're going to talk about soon in a full review. So this is a size 11.5 UK, which is a 12 US. Now, we've been talking about this a lot lately in the channel because we've had a lot of Adidas and New Balance shoes lately. This runs bigger than a normal Adidas sizing. So what I mean is, I went 11.5 in the Adios 6, and that was okay. I went 11 in the Adios Pro 2, and that was okay. So that runs really big for an Adidas shoe, in my opinion. I went 11.5 UK in the Boston 10, and I found that although it's okay and no issue, it is roomier than the Adios 6 in my opinion. I'll put a video here of the Adios 6 and the Boston 10 on one foot on the other, and you can see what I mean. I could have easily got away with 11 in this, so if you want to go true to your normal UK size in Nike, then you can. If you want to go true to your normal Adidas size or New Balance size, you probably can as well. I know it's confusing. I'm not the one that changed all these US, UK measurements, so don't have a go at me, have a go at them. Perforations on the top, but then they're covered by more of like a sort of an overlay, a mesh kind of overlay. It was quite a hot day today on the 6 miles. As you can see, I'm sweating my head off, and I didn't find any hot spots or blisters on the shoe. I don't think it's one of the most breathable shoes in the whole entire universe, but it's not one of them shoes that after running it, my feet were all blistered up and broken and battered and bruised. So yeah, semi-breathable, not too bad. In terms of heel, again, we've got a very, very sturdy heel going on here, like in the Adios 6, with a kind of little bit of like a heel cup going around here. So there's a little bit of extra plastic added around the back here for a little bit of sort of support and rigidity. The tongue is quite different to that in the Adios 6. It's pretty much a booty, a plasticky type feeling on the top here, but it was fine today. It kept the laces in place nicely. It didn't rub, it didn't move about, so I can't knock it down for that. In terms of the lacing and the lockdown, I thought that was pretty good today. Once I'd got my foot in here, I found it quite tight to get my foot in, like just to get it in, kind of like Alpha Flight-esque. But once it was in, it felt fine. It didn't feel too tight. It didn't feel too narrow. This is a tiny little bit restrictive, but not in a really, really horrible way. And just one thing that I did have a little bit of an issue with today, actually, these holes up here, because I felt like the laces sort of finished quite early on the tongue where they are here. So I did use them here to try and see if that affected the heel lockdown. And what I did find after about 1.5 miles, although I didn't feel like I pulled them in really tight, I was getting an absolute horrible throbbing pain on the outside of my right foot here. And I was like, oh no, this is not good. But I stopped, I completely undid the shoe, took the out of these laces here on both shoes, did it back up and didn't feel anything at all. So I'm not going to put that down. I've never had that before, which was weird. And I don't feel like it was over tight. but I didn't have it again. It didn't come back. I'm not worried about it coming back. So yeah, that's just something that happened. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It just happened. So there's that for you guys. In the Adios 6, we have got the dual foam combination going on. So we have got Lightstrike Pro on the top, which is obviously your super duper foam, and Lightstrike underneath, which is definitely a lot more dense, and quite a firm feeling, but durable feeling, stable feeling type of feels. Energy rods, just to sort of give that little bit of rigidity and extra pop. Does that come through in the shoe? As I said earlier, this shoe is firm, okay? It does feel firm, which I don't hate. I do quite like a firm feeling shoe. I think it feels stable. It is firmer than the Adios 6. It's not going to be a comparison. Let me know in the comments below if you guys would like an Adios 6 versus Boston 10. I think you would, but let me know in the comments below and I can sort that out for you. We've got millions of videos coming, so it can just be another one in the pipeline. 4 foot favouring. And I definitely do think that. I did try heel striking in this. Now, I'm not going to pretend I'm a sort of expert in all gaits and all different types of running, but I am more of a mid-foot to mainly 4 foot striker. I'm not saying that's the way to be, that's just the way I am. Throughout my years of running, I've tried loads of different styles, and that's just what works best for me. When I was running on my heel, again, I'm not the best heel striker in the world, so you might find it better for you as a heel striker, but I didn't really enjoy this shoe that much when I was heel striking. It just felt very unspecial, just like a little bit firm, not really doing anything. The rods felt completely, absolutely pointless. The Lightstrike Pro felt like it didn't even exist in there. But when I did sort of move on to my 4 foot, and I would say the pace for me that it worked best at, I had it at a range of paces. I'll put the paces that I had up here. But when I was around a sort of like between probably 7 minute mile to like 7.5, 7:40 minute mile, sort of cruising pace, that's when I felt like it just sort of had me ticking over and felt all right. I did track in a couple of miles that were quite sort of slow for me. I took this around everywhere. So I took this on some grass, through some sort of crops, through some bushes, all that kind of stuff. Because I know this is a road running shoe, but if it's a daily trainer shoe, I kind of like seeing what it would be like in all different types of environments. When I slowed it down again, it just felt a little bit just felt a little bit like not really doing anything. It felt like there would be a million other shoes I'd rather be running in than this for that type of stuff. When I sped it up a little bit, too speedy, and there it felt like this shoe just wasn't designed to be going that fast. I personally don't feel like these energy rods really do anything for the shoe. I don't feel them to be adding any extra benefit over the Adios 6. Especially with the added weight. I personally feel no extra benefit from these rods, from the extra stack. As a sort of cruising shoe, around about 7:15 to 7:40, yeah, it was actually okay. It just sort of just ticked along. It felt like I was able to continue running in my stride. No real issues. It sort of was quite smooth and actually quite fairly enjoyable. In terms of the outsole, again, we've got Continental rubber on the bottom here. I'm not going to say too much about this because it's the same as in the Adios 6. Really grippy, really durable, really going to be really good. So the outsole, I'm not going to go too much about it. It is really grippy. It's going to last a long time, I think. And the exposed Lightstrike here, again, Lightstrike is a very durable type foam, so I think it's going to last a long time. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about is just a sort of fun factor. The first run, feel and fun factor that I got from this shoe today. It's neither super high nor super light. We're going to give this a 6.4 today for my fun factor out of 10, which is a little bit lower than the Adios Pro 2 after my first run. And that's because it was an okay shoe, all right? I really didn't hate this shoe, but I really didn't love it either. It's not something that I probably would buy with the other shoes that I've got if I wasn't an absolute shoe nut, because it's just not really anything super special. It's not anything super bad either, it's just not super special. But I did enjoy it though still, okay? So I did actually enjoy it. I didn't come back thinking, God, I hated that shoe, like I have done in some shoes. And I didn't come back thinking, wow, I absolutely love that shoe. So of course, we've got more miles to do in this shoe before we can decide properly. But yeah, so that is my first initial run. Thoughts? Let me know in the comments below what you think of this shoe. Have you got it? Are you going to get it? Would you get this after watching this review? It's really not, it's not designed to be a negative review, okay? I didn't dislike this shoe. I'm just being honest. I'm just sort of putting across all my sort of thoughts and opinions. After all, if you want to buy a shoe, you want to sort of know all the details, don't you? So that's what you're always going to get on this channel. As always, guys, please, one last thing, if you can like and subscribe and turn on the bell for notifications. Always, guys, I've been Running Man Sam. This has been a super duper shoe review, and I'll see you guys in a bit.